Okay, we'll get started. I'll call the meeting to order. If you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to the Thursday, May 3rd, 2018 Town of Riverhead Planning Board meeting. Tonight we're going to go a little bit out of order from the agenda. We're going to hold off on the discussion item and go right into the public hearings. So the first public hearing on the agenda tonight is for Sabre Aldi's expansion. Did we get the proof of posting?
Yes.
Okay.
Packets last time, I just made 2 more copies, just in case anyone still doesn't have them.
Thank you, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Courtney Riley from VHB Engineering. I'm representing Aldi's tonight on a 896 square foot addition to the back of Aldi's. This is at the Sabre site, located at 1757 Old Country Road in Riverhead, New York. The addition is in the rear of the property. It is, if you look in your packets, it's going no further than the loading dock. It's a 12-foot addition to the back. This has to do with interior, just restructuring the interior footprint, and we needed about 12 more feet. If you turn to your packet, we've also, at the request of the planning department, done some landscape improvements underneath the pylon sign. These improvements, just more about the perennials, having a little bit more color, and as well as some evergreens underneath the pylon. Moving to the next sheet, you can see currently the Dick's Sporting Goods and the Christmas tree shops are 60 feet and 79 feet to the property line in the rear property. This 12-foot addition will put us at 152 feet, so going no further than what's already there with the Dick's Sporting Goods and the Christmas tree shops. And the last 2 pictures of the portfolio shows the pictures that exist today. If you remember, when we developed this property, we depressed the area due to the loading. There is then a 1-on-3 grade that goes up to a retaining wall, and the existing vegetation has remained, as well as we planted additional evergreens when we built the property about 5 years ago. This 12-foot addition would not push this back any further than exists today. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, here to answer them. We did get some minor comments from the town on April 25th, and we responded on April 27th, which I'm sure Karen can allude to if she wants to go through any of those. Again, just some minor cleanup on the plans.
We don't need to go through the comments tonight for the public hearing, but there were some issues with lighting on the other buildings.
Yes, so the property owner has confirmed that they understand that there were some lighting put in after the fact. They've talked to their tenants, and they will be replacing those lights.
And there were TDRs involved, right, and they were purchased?
Those TDRs were purchased.
Any other questions from the board? No, sir. We've been through this a couple times with you. Yeah. Okay, anyone from the public have any comments on this application? Anyone from the public? Okay.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second motion?
Okay, motion made and seconded to close the public hearing for Sabre Aldi's expansion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is closed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is NERP Tractor Supply Subdivision. Public hearing is for a industrial subdivision on a three three-lot minor industrial subdivision. That's the first portion.
Good evening.
Sure. Good, how are you?
All right, sorry about that. Good evening, my name is Dale Koch. I'm with the firm Bowler Engineering. We're located at 2929 Expressway Drive North in Hauppauge. I'm a licensed professional engineer. I've been practicing in the state of New York for about 8 years now. The first application we have here tonight for Tractor Supply is the subdivision. We are looking to subdivide a piece of the property located at 4331 Middle Country Road in Calverton to allow for the development of a new Tractor Supply and associated retail. The new subdivided piece will be approximately 5.16 acres, and the remainder of the site, a portion of it will remain in the business zone, and then the remainder, the rest of that site to the south will then remain in the industrial zone. I'm happy to answer any questions the board has on the subdivision and which lots it affects.
Okay, again, so this first public hearing is just for the subdivision of the property.
That's correct.
Can you answer, during some of the work sessions, we didn't get an answer on the amount of material, the volume of the material that's actually on site, because it's a recycling processing center currently, versus what's being exported.
Right. I think some of the representatives from the property owner are here to, answer some of those questions, but, I mean, we don't necessarily have those answers on what's being exported versus imported for the subdivision.
Okay, and then there was some violations by the DEC too on the property?
I understand reports and water reports have been submitted and those have been addressed.
No, that had to do with the material that was on site. We had asked these questions when they came back at the work session, so we had hoped to just have some answers tonight. If you don't have them, that's fine, but I don't know. Okay, just so you can state your name. Yeah, that's right, you guys were here for the work session.
My name is Ishwar Kusuri. I'm a PE in New York. And recently, I think Calvert Industries signed an order and consent with DEC. And they have 30 days to respond. So it was last week which they signed. Calverton assigned me to do some volume calculations, which are in the process of doing all those things. So I don't have a direct answer, but it's in the process. We are working with DEC on this.
Can you tell us what's in the order of consent?
I can share, I can give you a copy of the order and consent. It's a public document. They gave him like 30 days to do volume calculations, come up with a reclamation plan to remove the material, and 60 days to start implementing all these order and consent items.
What was the date of the order?
Let me just check.
Roughly, last week, 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you leave copies of that for us, or leave
Sure.
a copy to us?
Sure.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Anyone from the public have any questions on this subdivision application? Anyone from the public?
Make a motion to close the public hearing for the subdivision of Tractor Supply, subdivision so moved. Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to close the public hearing for Tractor Supply subdivision. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing's closed. Thank you. Okay, so next one is Number 3 on the agenda, public hearing for NERP Tractor Supply for the actual retail space.
Okay, good evening once again. My name is, for the record, Dale Koch, Bowler Engineering, 2929 Expressway Drive North in Hauppauge, New York. So, the proposal, well, the existing site is located at 4331 Middle Country Road in Calverton. As everyone knows, Middle Country Road, New York State Route 25, is under the jurisdiction of the New York State DOT. Hopefully, once the board acts favorably on the previous application and there's a subdivision, the lot itself we're looking to develop is approximately 5.16 acres, or 225,000 square feet. The first 500 feet of our site, which is the site itself, will be zoned within the business zone, and it's being operated by the property owner, Calverton Industries LLC. So this application before you this evening, we're here to develop a new Tractor Supply and 3 additional retail buildings. The idea here is for it to be in a campus-style layout. We have before the board today a site plan rendering showing the Tractor Supply building, and then 2 4,000 square foot retail buildings to the north and east of the site, and then 1 9,450 square foot building just to the east of the proposed Tractor Supply. At this time, just so the board's aware, we don't have tenants, but this is the type of layout and idea that we're looking to achieve. Over the past year, we've worked pretty extensively with the planning department. I know there were some questions and some dialogue about the front yard landscaping. We've since adjusted it, added some additional street trees that were required by the board. The new plan shows a total of 8 street trees. There's rear yard landscaping. There were some concerns regarding screening to the properties, to and from the properties to the south, so we added a row of arborvitaes that are to be installed at approximately 6 to 7 feet tall, and some screening around one of the trash enclosures. The parking and the trash enclosure to the south of the first retail building to the east of the Tractor Supply, the trash enclosure was relocated to the south side of that drive aisle to allow for pedestrians and customers going to use the Tractor Supply or the retail space that they can easily navigate around those 2 buildings on the sidewalks that we had initially proposed. We changed some of the off-street loading and added some additional loading areas just to meet the town code where it requires 3. We are now providing 3. There were some back and forth discussions, I know, about accessibility and being able to allow for accessible sidewalks from the right-of-way. So we've added a sidewalk and accessible ramps that traverse all the way through the site, passing the 2 4,000 square foot retail buildings, and then going past the 9,400 square foot building, and then ultimately to the proposed Tractor Supply. And finally, there were some discussions, I know, about future access and future uses to the south of our site. We modified the main entrance, which you'll see on the west side of our subdivided lot. It's an industrial road meeting the standards of the town of Riverhead, new drainage, new striping, and all the access into Middle Country Road complies with the town standards. Just so the board's aware, Paul Going, our traffic expert, is here tonight, and after I'm finished, I'll allow him to just come up and add a couple pieces of where we are with the DOT and how we're making out with that application. And then just to give a little history on, and a little detail on the actual Tractor Supply use, the building itself is 19,097 square feet, and that's the retail portion. To the west of the building is an outdoor sales and storage area where some of the bigger equipment type uses that they sell will be stored. There's an access aisle through that area where forklifts and other machinery can pick up and deliver to customers. People purchasing bigger items that may be in that area. And then we're providing 147 parking stalls, which meets the town requirement. and about 43,000 square feet of new landscaping throughout the site. So overall, you know, really well-designed and well thought out landscaping plan with the input of the planning department. One of the items that's still outstanding, I know there were some discussions about lighting. We had originally designed the site with a 4,000 Kelvin temperature for the LED fixtures. The town now requires 3,000, so we've consulted with the developer and don't see any issues with reducing those numbers and meeting the heat requirements of the lighting. And then just one thing that is still kind of outstanding that we wanted to discuss a little bit, and I have an exhibit here to show, but the monument sign and the building sign, there were some discussions on how to illuminate those. The applicants agreed to the wall sign being the decorative goosenecks becoming just decorative and not having any light, and then installing some light bars at the top and bottom of the wall sign itself to still illuminate it. They're really thin LED bars, so you really won't see them. The main feature will be those gooseneck lights, and I think overall it'll be a really attractive, creative way to light the sign. And then the monument sign, we have a 32 square foot monument sign. It's actually 31.91 square feet, which meets the town code. Right now, Tractor Supply has come up with a new monument sign. It's internally illuminated, but the white face, and actually, let me hand an exhibit up to the board right here.
Greg, we can assume they have a copy of your report?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, so this is an interesting design. I was taking a look at it, and I think it's a good solution. As we all know, when they're internally illuminated, the signs, the white face can be really distracting and overbearing. And by providing that white face with an opaque background inside the sign, and then perforating the areas where you actually see the light come through, it's a very subtle, nice way. I mean, I think when you're driving down Middle Country Road, you'll still see the sign, but it won't be this glowing feature. It's the sign, they're building a location right now on Route 112 in Brookhaven and Medford. This is the sign that they're using. We are certainly amenable to work with the town and come up with a better solution, but we're working on it, and we thought this might be a good approach for the monument sign and illuminating it.
Has staff seen this?
I have not seen that.
So we'll give you a copy so you could look at all the dimensions, okay?
Dale, I had a quick question for you.
Of course.
I agree with you, I do like the layout, I think it works really good. I was hoping to see more detail on the landscaping on the front. We did discuss that last time. Do you have any further plans that you could show us?
Yeah, it's probably a little hard to see on this plan here. If I stay here and kind of walk through everything, am I loud enough?
Sure.
Okay, all right, so like I was mentioning in my presentation, we did provide the new street trees as discussed in the work sessions. There's also a hedgerow along the front parking area to block any headlights that would have people pulling straight in. It'll be about 2 feet high, 3 feet high to make sure that when a car pulls in, their headlights don't shine out into Middle Country Road. And we are also still providing that 60-foot required buffer. Throughout the site, we've placed some new...
Dale, is that 60 feet from the property line? Is it 60 feet of green space?
60 feet of green space from the property line. It's probably closer to, I'm sorry, it'll be 60 feet to the property line, and then the sidewalk is still in that area, so maybe 59 feet. And then throughout all the landscaped islands, there are some new trees, shrubs, same idea along the new road that we're installing for access throughout the site. We put a hedgerow to block any cars parking their headlights shining onto this new roadway and access road. And then, as I discussed, there's a new row of evergreen shrubs going on. They'll be installed about 6 or 7 feet high, which would give ample screening along the rear of the property.
So the islands to the west, what's in those islands? In your parking lot, yeah.
Yeah, so these, there'll be 2 trees and then the row of shrubs.
Is it irrigated?
It will be, yeah.
That's an on-site irrigation?
That was the idea,
Well,
especially to
well-
at least allow everything to be established.
Right, and then,
Right.
What are the typical hours of operation for Tractor Supply?
Okay, so the typical hours of operation are 8 AM to 8 PM. The lights stay on until about 9 PM to allow for customers and everyone to clear out of the parking lot.
On your site plan, you show a 3,000 square foot permanent trailer display. What exactly is that?
So Tractor Supply uses this area to have some small, like landscaping trailers, single axle trailers to load a small lawnmower on. Really anything that would be sought after in the neighborhood.
This is items for sale, is that right?
It's items for
So
sale. yeah.
smaller items.
Correct. So that essentially concludes my presentation. Paul is here to just briefly give an overview of the DOT work. He can come up, and then we're happy to answer any questions that the board has.
Hi, my name is Paul Going. Last name is spelled G-O-I-N-G, just like the word going. I'm with Atlantic Traffic and Design Engineers, located at 2929 Expressway Drive North in Hopog. I'm licensed PE in New York State, and I'm a traffic engineer. We did get some comments from the DOT. I met with the DOT in March, and we went over the comments. None of them seem particularly problematic. The most significant change that we'll have to implement is changing our northbound approach at the driveway to Middle Country Road to provide separate left and right turn lanes. The DOT wanted us to do that and to additionally reduce our radii, which were laid out to allow trucks to enter and exit. And by putting in that center lane, we'll be able to do that. The DOT likes the sidewalk, and they specifically wanted to have a connection between the public sidewalk and the right-of-way and down to the stores and the buildings.
Is the driveway directly across the street from Fresh Pond?
Yes, yeah, and that was by intent to line it up with Fresh Pond.
what is the width of the driveway? As you say, you have a left turning, a right turning lane, and then you have an entrance in that same area, correct?
Yes, the curb-to-curb width is 37 feet. So that would accommodate two 13-foot lanes on the outside and an 11-foot lane on the inside for the left turns. And at this location, the center lane would be for lefts and through movements. The idea being that the right-hand lane would be for right turns only.
And the entire driveway width, all the way back into the property?
It's 37 feet all the way back until it bulbs out for the cul-de-sac.
Goes back to a cul-de-sac.
Does DOT require a traffic signal?
No.
And they asked you to reduce the radius?
Reduce the radii. So right now we have some large radii, maybe it's about 150 feet on the ingress side and 120 on the egress side. And that's just to accommodate the truck turns. So they asked us to reduce those radii and by doing that, reduce the opening of the driveway where it hits the highway.
Are there going to be mountable curbs coming in and out?
It's,
Because I know there's a lot of traffic there.
Yeah, we're not planning to have mountable curbs. We're planning to lay it out so that it can accommodate the movements.
We get a copy?
Any other questions from the board?
Ishwa, if you could keep the planning department informed on what's going on with the plan with the DEC, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back again, once the public hearings are closed and you have those answers for us.
I have one other question about the retail space. Can we assume that it's all going to be farm-type related?
No, I mean, I think assuming the
I mean,
retail.
we wouldn't put an ice cream store in there, for example.
I mean, I think you may want to put, uses that complement the Tractor Supply in the surrounding neighborhood. But at this time, I mean, we can't make assumptions that they're going to be all farm retail uses.
I put my question to you because of the parking, how it would affect the parking if you had a retail space.
Well, we would obviously comply with the town code and the parking requirements that we have on the plan now. They would have to be retail. That's the way we've done the calculation at this point and shown that we meet the town parking
And
requirements.
you have enough room to expand if you had to anyway, parking, it looks like.
I mean,
Okay.
there's always a way if we absolutely had to find a couple of extra stalls, but this layout really
Yeah,
works
for the square footage that you have, you're
Right,
proposing,
yeah.
you meet the parking.
This layout works really well for the use and the way everything's set up in this campus style, that we really wouldn't want to go changing the driveways or access or the layout of parking at this time. So if the board doesn't have any other questions, and let's
Close the public. Anyone from the public have questions on this application? Anyone from the public? Okay,
Make a motion to close the public hearing for NERP Tractor Supply for the site plan. So moved.
Second?
okay, motion made and seconded to close the public hearing for Tractor Supply site plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is closed.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just to confirm, so, for the property in the back, you were saying they had to come back and just keep everyone updated with the results of the tests?
Right.
There's a plan to remediate their violations.
Got it.
And as a town, we'd like to know what they are
Great, okay.
and the timeframes.
And they have to look at the sign too. I don't know if there's gonna be comments on the sign. So before we
Of
get
course.
to a resolution, we'll have you
Yeah,
back
well-
at a work session.
Yep, there was that, and we'll work that out with planning. Absolutely, thank you.
If we could see a little more detail on the front landscaping too, that'd be great. Thank you,
We'll submit our detailed landscaping plan to planning so they can review it.
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Brighton Early Discoveries, public hearing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you guys again. We have no representation, just husband and wife team.
You'll do fine.
Okay, just, your names for the record, please.
Mark Lamena, Jennifer Lamena at 608 Northville Turnpike.
Okay, and do you have the posting of, the public hearing?
Go for it.
Carissa, you can give this to Greg. Copy for later, that's fine.
Okay, so if you could explain exactly what you're doing to the property and what the use is gonna be, for the record, please.
Well, because it is a preschool, it is mandatory that we have a facility for the children to play outside. The schematics that we presented with Jeff Zahn, I don't know, a couple months ago, show that the back area will have a playground area, and around the front, we'll have a garden area for the children to plant, hopefully, fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing. The back area would be for them to get their daily outdoor exercise that is
So you're converting an existing office building into a daycare center.
It's a beautiful preschool right now, I like to call it. It's
Preschool, okay.
preschool, yeah.
Just have to assume the public doesn't know what's
Okay.
being proposed. So I
Yeah.
know you've sat with us, but.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
It's a six-room preschool.
Since classes preschool, we would be open, hours of operation would be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, and we have different drop-off time and pickup time during the day.
Enrollment would be around 50 children.
50?
We currently operate at 125 Union Avenue, an at-home daycare facility Which-
In Ackenborough?
in
No,
Riverhead.
Riverhead?
Across, yep.
right off of State Street.
So,
There was discussion last time you were here, Mark, did we decide that we're gonna keep those trees on the northern boundary?
yes,
Yes.
the whole property just got mulched and beautified today, and the playground itself in the back is gonna also be pretty much non-visible from the street driving by, as we're gonna have, I forgot the name of the actual plant, green giants, I believe they're
Okay.
called. So there'll be potted green giants between the barrier wall and the chain link fence.
What did you say the ground cover in the playground's going to be?
Right now, we're looking at rubber mulch.
Then the other outdoor area, to the other side?
Would be
Same
natural mulch.
Same thing? Not natural?
Natural for the garden area.
Did we require comments? It's a county road, right?
I did receive comments from DPW. I forwarded them to the applicant as well as the design professional. Comments included, they needed to make sure the ramps and curbs were all ADA compliant. Some small comments, nothing really significant, but those were included in the approval resolution.
Okay.
I passed that information off to Herbert Israel, who said is gonna get right on it.
Yeah, I spoke with Mr. Israel.
Any other questions from the board?
Further.
Any questions from the public or comments from the public on this application? Okay, if you could just bear with me for 1 second on this.
Is there any off-street parking on North Turnpike?
Off-street, no, everything's in-house.
There was some concerns last time expressed about the drop-off area, drop-off and pickup. Would you say, how many classes do you have? You said you have about 50 students, and it's staggered. Are they 3-hour program, 2-hour program, 5-hour, or do they vary?
They vary. We have part-day and full-day. The drop-off time, however, is different.
Right.
Some children may be dropped off between 7 and 3, that may be their hours, that full-day hour, or some of them may be 9 to 5, 8 to 4. So the traffic flow would definitely move. We have, I don't know if any of you had seen the building, but there is 2
I have.
driveways in there and in and out, so it makes it
So
very-
they'll pull in off Northville Turnpike, drop off, it'll be secure, there won't be, there won't be any obstruction of traffic?
Absolutely not.
How many cars do you think you can handle in there at any one time? I mean, is it 2 or 3 or? So there was some expression of how it would affect the traffic if anyone had to stop, on Northville Turnpike, and a wait going in to drop off. Do you feel you have it, sufficient? Can you drop off? Can 3 people drop off at the same time?
There's, I
5
believe
people?
there's still 16, I don't have the plans in front of me.
There were
There's 16 available?
24 parking spots originally, and we're only taking 4 out of the 24, so that will leave us with 20 parking spots.
Okay,
Well,
so
that-
that should.
13 parking spots are being proposed, that's what's
Oh,
indicated.
that's what it says?
13.
13.
Which the parking that's being provided does comply with the code for the square footage of the building.
And 4 of our current staff travel on the bus, which helps.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, how much is that? How many on staff?
Currently, we have a staff of 5 right now.
That's what you're gonna plan to have as well?
We plan to have a staff of 8.
Where would they park? Do they have to take 8 of the 13 spots?
We currently have a few that take public transportation, so.
We would probably park them closest to the playground area, as it's furthest back in the lot.
We have a letter from 3 concerned citizens that go into some of those questions. I'll repeat some of them in the letter. How many total parking spaces will remain after the renovation?
13 you just
13.
said.
Okay. I was reading, not listening, I guess. It may be repetitious. How many of the remaining spaces will be required for handicap parking? You answered that already?
There's
There's
one
one,
required
sorry.
handicap,
Zero.
it's compliant with code.
Staff members to be employed daily, how many?
We would have a
5 to 8,
between 5 and 8.
hopefully 8, which means there's more kids there.
How many children in this center's maximum allowance? Is there one?
50.
50? Okay, what else we got? Will parking be available for any visitors?
Yes.
Getting kind of tight, I guess, right? Additional offices or services be offered inside the building? If so, how many?
We were thinking about there's 2 rooms upstairs we're thinking about renting, but she's gonna take an office and I'm gonna take an office, so. I've never had my own office before. So, feels pretty good.
That's really called a man cave.
Yeah. Once I put my Met stuff up, if they can win again.
Do you have to get a license or approval from the state education department?
Office of Children and Family Services. They make the final determination as to the capacity in terms of children.
Is that state or county?
That's the state, New York State.
Is a crossing guard needed at this site, do you think?
Not unless the children are going to Triple C's Deli. I don't think there
That's all.
needs to be one.
Okay, that's all the question.
Any other questions from the public?
Make a motion to close the public hearing for the Bright and Early Discoveries Children's Facility. So
Second.
moved.
Second.
A motion made and seconded to close the
Did you have a
public hearing.
question? Hold on one second, Stan.
Oh, okay.
The other lady.
If you could come up to the podium, please, and just state your name for the record.
Jennifer Reeve. I don't really have a question. I didn't know if it's open for public comment on a
Yeah.
planning board meeting. I just want to say that I think it's nice when you drive by and you see a building that was sitting, kind of fall into disrepair, that they're putting up a lot of work and effort to make a place for our kids. I just a few years ago had to search around for daycare for my son, and it wasn't, I mean, you would think there's a number of other places, but not all of them fit what you're looking for. So it's nice to have another option, and speaking for a lot of other moms that I've spoken to, it's a welcome new business, and I wish them all the luck. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the discussion items. Apologize to 1535 Route 58 LLC, but we had the public hearings and we didn't know how long this discussion was gonna take and didn't want a bunch of people waiting for this one. So you guys are up.
And they're just here to hear.
Oh, they just here to hear? It was a discussion item, right?
Right, it's a discussion. I'm gonna explain to the board, they had a special permit and site plan application pending. Pursuant to secret, the first thing that has to be done is to establish lead agency. The town board has circulated this lead agency request to all involved agencies, you being one of them. This is not a discussion item about the site plan application itself, this is solely about secret. And Jeffrey can elaborate more on that.
Okay.
So why did the town board do that?
Typically, with a special permit, the town board elects to take lead agency. This action is unlisted, but it is recommended that they coordinate review because of multi-board participation.
Do you know if they went to the sewer district? They're talking about expanding the sewer district because they're not in it. Are we at capacity, or is there room to expand? I don't know if anybody looked into that.
I don't know. I do know that I reconfirmed with the sewer district superintendent that they are not in the sewer district, because in the last reply letter I got back, it said that they were in the sewer district. The water district had originally said they were half in the water district and half out of the water district, but then corrected that and said it was within the water district.
Was
So-
within?
Yes, so perhaps the applicant misunderstood when I relayed that, but they are not within the sewer district.
Doesn't the sewer go right down 58, right in front of the property?
I believe it's right there to, sure, go ahead.
When we did the Route 58 sewer extension, we only put commercial parcels in extension, and this was a home at that time, and they specifically asked to be excluded or indicated in some way that they did not want to pay the tax attendant to the commercial sewer extension. So they're gonna need to apply to the town board as one of their applications to extend the boundary to include this property, and that's part of what they should be coordinating their review on, is that issue of the public hearing that'll be required, so they'll have to.
But the sewer does run in front of the property, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, there's a.
Okay.
There's a lift station in the old Wilmot Plaza, and there's a lift station at Tanger, and then there's gravity that runs between those, and the force main runs.
But it's still gonna be an expansion of the district.
It's gonna be an extension of the boundary to include them within the taxing jurisdiction and to serve them, and they're gonna require, the district would require a map and a plan and a public hearing before the town board, which is part of the entire application process. I mean, at the end of the day, as they say, they're gonna have to be served at that location. And that would be one of the things that they would need to address under SECR, according to review, both with you, the sewer district, and the town board.
Karen, what size is the entire lot?
It's a little over 62,622 square feet.
So they need a special permit to get the car wash for the town board.
Correct.
Okay. And let's just assume that they got that. Does it fit everything else, or is there a bunch of variances, or?
I don't think I got a revised plan back. I haven't reviewed it in depth. Their response letter says they no longer require variances. There are still some issues that would need to be addressed.
Right, okay.
Have we gotten site plans, Karen?
What's that?
Have we gotten, you have enough
Yes,
site plans? to give
I
us?
got site plans. I did a report, which I gave to the board.
I have the report, but I don't have the plan.
You would have gotten the plan as well, but,
I don't think I got one either.
sure? Okay. I can remedy that. I
Okay,
can give you
good.
the latest
Fine,
plan
thank you.
when I do my next report.
Thank you.
I got it, so.
So some of the secret issues that we would like to get clarification on include land use, because there are multiple uses within the same site. Traffic, because of the layout of the site and access points from Pulaski Road, which, since its modifications, I think is beginning to exhibit more traffic flow. We'd like to at least understand that. Certainly the extension of the sewer district and any of the discharge flows that would be anticipated, and some clarity on the water, not just the quantity or daily demand, but, pressure and hours of use, and how that may or may not affect the problems that we're already experiencing.
Yeah,
in the
there should
district.
probably be a little bit more, like how much of that water's gonna be recycled.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of questions that are meant to be answered.
Yeah, they did indicate in their response letter that they were going to recycle water, but I'm not sure percentage or how that exactly works, so.
So what exactly do you need from us going forward for the secret review and the town board?
Well, I think first would be whether or not the planning board would want to assume lead agency or let the town board run with it. They have circulated that request.
Do they not want to?
I think they are certainly capable of doing the special permit, but I would like this board to participate with the comments that town board is going to take the lead, so that we would like to see our questions regarding the site plan review integrated very well with this special permit, just so that everything is brought to the surface through the secret process.
But eventually you have to come for a site plan anyway, correct?
Pardon me?
They have to come just for us,
Yeah, yes,
to us for site.
but that wouldn't happen until secret is
Right.
concluded.
And they get a special permit.
Right. And any conditions of the special permit would also be added to special conditions that this board would want to see.
So
on
how
the site
many,
plans.
how many main uses are they looking for?
There's, oh, sorry, I was trying to
Go ahead.
answer. There's an entrance, there are two entrances off of Pulaski Street. One is on the Pulaski Street, what I call the Pulaski Street extension, which goes from Old Country Road to the T intersection with Pulaski Street again. That's further to the south. They actually moved it a bit further south, like 25 feet further south, because it was brought up that traffic does back up at the light there and they block the entrance. They're showing an unrestricted turning movement curb cut there, and it may be something to consider whether that should be a right in and a right out or what have you. And then there's also another curb cut on Pulaski Street, the other section of Pulaski Street further east. So those are the two curb cuts. There's no, nothing on Route 58. The county wouldn't allow that.
To answer the question of the uses, there's, from memory, I believe, a car wash with office space provided, plus retail, plus restaurant.
It's a 75-seat restaurant,
How big's the retail?
1,000 square feet.
So we're also trying to look at the internal traffic flow as how all those integrate together while
Is
cars
it-
are being washed.
Is it a mechanized car wash, or is it hand wash, or?
Well, one of the things was questioned, like what amenities, what services would be prior to going
Is
into
it a
the car
tunnel,
wash
in
and
other words?
after coming out of the car wash and queuing before and after the car wash, and it was brought up that there would be no services in the response letter before or after the car wash, and that people would stay in their cars going through the car wash. There are 8 extra wide spaces they're showing. As the cars come out of the car wash, there's a very short area before they would go into the traffic aisle. And then across from there, there's 8 extra wide parking stalls that are where they have vacuums. So that might get a lot of cars coming in and out, backing in and out of those
Is
parking
that
stalls.
self-vacuuming, or is it?
From what they describe being that there's no services provided, I would assume so, but we'd want to clarify that. I don't know if that's the best spot for a lot of traffic movement.
A lot of questions.
Was this parcel part of a taking by the county years ago, eminent domain,
Yes,
when the road was put in?
When they did the road.
the
yeah.
frontage. Yeah, I think it was.
Yes, it definitely was.
It's the beast, yeah.
Right, right.
I hope if they do build something else, they can save all the wood from that barn. It's a really nice barn, and I guess.
So we should get our comments organized and get them to you, Jeff?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the car wash, stay in your car. I mean, I'd just like to know how that's gonna work. You ever see one of those anywhere?
Yeah, mobile.
Well, that's a gas station. If it's something like that, fine. If it's attached to a gas station, I just don't see a freestanding, you know? All right, whatever.
See how it works, and a lot of questions about water and sewer.
I'm assuming a lot of that water is recycled anyway.
Have to put the bikini wash in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's why we want to have some additional information through secret, because we'd like to know how it all works. It's a bit of an unusual plan because of the multiple uses. And the size of the parcel isn't very large. There's some grade differences, retaining walls,
I know, I
and
see
certain
that.
things that have to go up
Yep.
to.
Karen,
And the
I don't know if I misplaced, I didn't get it, but I'd like to get a copy of this.
Yeah, I can give it to you.
Thank you.
Okay?
So the
Yeah.
town issued that letter to us already. How long has it been? Is there a certain time frame that they automatically are the lead agency?
I think they did this resolution, I know they did it in earlier, mid-April. I thought it may have been April 8th or thereabout. 30 days is minimum. So if you give no response, then by default, they become lead agency. If you want to formally decide that you want the town board to assume lead agency, you can just acknowledge that. Even an email back to me is sufficient.
One thing I think we can do, Jeffrey, is pulling some of our issues back to the planning board, that you can include in your response back to the town board. We can get an email proxy, back from all of you as to whether or not you agree, if you want more added, that sort of thing. Because I don't know if we have time before the next meeting to get back, so I think we get the comments to you, and you all sign off on it electronically. We can do that.
And you'll have ample time during the site plan review process
Right, right.
to certainly participate, as this board always does. We just don't want an approval to take place prematurely and take us out of the CEQA cycle.
Any questions? No, sir. Thank you.
Karen, I'll take one of them in the box too.
Is there anyone lucky enough to get one? Yes, sir.
You're the only one.
Just so the board knows, this is the revised plan. I have it written up the report there.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda are the resolutions. Are there any comments from the public on the resolutions? Any comments from the public?
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, number one.
I'd like to move resolution number 34 of the Riverhead Planning Board, which is the Swank Albinski lot line modification. So moved.
Second?
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve resolution 34, Swank Albinski lot line modification. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's approved.
I'll move resolution 35 for chapter 219, Oakwood on the Sound, a resolution to legitimatize a previously installed 550-foot-long earthen berm. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve resolution 35 for chapter 219, Oakwood on the Sound. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution's approved.
I'll move resolution number 36, assume lead, and we assume the agency of issued negative declaration pursuant to sewer and grant preliminary site plan for Long Island Sport Park.
Second the motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve resolution 36, preliminary site plan approval for Long Island Sports Park.
I'll take 37.
One
State-
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just before you do 37, I just want to amend something. On page 3 of 7, number 1AI, the floor plan date, I have it down as December 15th, 2016. It should be July 28th, 2016.
Okay. George, you were doing 37?
Saberaldi, 37. Resolution to approve an administrative site plan for front facade alterations and
Second.
and to construct an approximately 896 square foot expansion and along the rear portion of the Aldi grocery store. It will require 0.6 agricultural preservation credits.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 37 as amended for Sabre Aldi. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Resolution number 38 is a resolution to clarify the 2012 Resolution number 75 resolution regarding the use of funds for wetlands. So moved.
Second.
Motion,
Question, this is 38?
38.
38.
Because mine had no numbers next to it.
Yep, 38.
okay, motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 38, clarifying use of funds for mapping of wetlands. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
I'll move Resolution 39 for Bright and Early Discoveries, granting preliminary site plan approval for the site plan application. So moved.
Second? Go ahead, Joe.
Motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 39 for Bright and Early Discoveries. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Okay, any comments from the public on any matter in front of the planning board?
Just one, Mr. Chairman. At the last planning board meeting, we talked about the proposed new Chapter 225 SECRA. I attempted to prepare a memo on your behalf to the supervisor and town board in terms of the comments and issues and recommendations you had. I emailed it to you, I think yesterday. I left a hard copy for you. I'm not looking for an answer from you tonight, but if you could, between now and the next meeting, just take a look at that and just let me know what your thoughts and any changes you'd like to make to it.
Okay, will do. Comments from the public?
I just wanted to say thank you guys. I know it's a tireless job. Not many people say thank you to you guys, and I appreciate all the hard
Thank you.
work. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Make a motion that we move the minutes of the April 19th planning board. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of April 19th, 2018. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Next meeting date is May 17th, 2018 at 3 PM.
I'll be there.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?